Hi guys, Wings Butler here. Well, as you see, we got the Jor El on the table. We're going to kind of knock this review out. We first want to start back here. As you can see, I changed the image on the back. Pulled this image off of Google Images, just typed in krypton. It's not very high. It's not very good high resolutions, nor can you get high resolution pictures from Google Images typically. Sometimes you can get lucky, not with numbers necessarily, but with this picture here, what I did was I wanted a picture of krypton. I wanted something that was kind of appropriate for this figure, so I found this and I pulled it off, and I usually download it into my photo gallery where I'll crop it and everything, get it ready for a 20 by 30 enlargement. I usually play with the contrast a little bit, kind of increase that, just to get the the contrast a little bit better, because the resolution is not going to be good. And I usually send it off to Walmart. An hour later, go pick it up. So it's always a little bit of a surprise when you open up, because you don't know what you're going to get. It works probably 95% of the time, but I've done it a few times where you open it up and just the picture's not usable. But it's not necessarily frameable. This actually turned out pretty good, and I love looking at it. It's got a lot of eye candy. You just sort of get lost in it. But yeah, the resolution numbers were only down in the hundreds, which is like almost unusable. And even it kept popping up warnings in my Walmart thing saying that the resolution was low. So I took a crapshoot, and it turned out, like I said, maybe not necessarily good for framing for some of you, but when it comes through video, any of the graininess that is in the picture kind of gets lost a little bit. So it's actually good for video, but not so much for framing. So that's the picture. Anyways, we'll get into the figure here. I just want to kind of give you my brief thoughts, then we'll kind of break it down into more detailed items. The figure overall, I'm very happy I got it. It's, if you're going to collect this line, obviously it's a figure that you need to have. And I had always intended on getting it when I decided to, get into this, Man of Steel license. But you can't do anything with it. It's so restricted. The only pose you can really do is, a pose you see here, I suppose, and, the hands behind the back, or he's holding the Kodaks. I actually wanted, to put his arms up. I wanted him to hold the Kodaks up here, have him looking up at the Kodaks, but you can't get his arms, very high because of all the restriction here. Yeah, I know it's not my knife. I don't think you guys will have trouble with this. But anyways, there's so much restriction here. You can't lift the arms up very good, and it doesn't rotate because there's so much restriction. The armor is done beautifully. I mean, it's just stunning, absolutely stunning. But so you can't do much with the arms except you get your articulation here in the elbows. That's pretty good with the opening here in the suit, and you do get some added leg articulation if you undo the zipper at the back of the gown. You'd be able to spread the legs a little more. But I mean, other than that, you can't do a whole lot with it. And the fact that it comes with a dynamic stand, as all you guys know, it's kind of useless with this figure. And it's a figure that's in dire need of a cross grabber, as you can see here. I mean, you can't, he was never flying in this outfit, as we've all talked about. I mean, this is cool. I like the colors of it. It's very, matches everything. The thing about krypton is, if you've noticed, the color palette is very, very dark colors and browns and golds and a lot of distressed, organic kind of a feel to it. It's very, very attractive to me, if that makes any sense. I mean, all this here, all this organic architecture. Like I say, you can sit here, you sit back there, where it actually looks a lot sharper, and you just sit here and stare at it, because it's just, So I really love how the studio designed or gave krypton the look that it gave. But when I was watching this, some of these reviews on this figure, same as the Superman 2, the undersuit, which was blue, on video it seemed really bright, and just like, oh god, like in the movie, this blue, it's almost green, like it's a very muted blue. It's actually pretty accurate now that you have the figure in hand. The blue is actually more appropriate, if that makes any sense. But the big thing about the suit that a lot of guys have brought up, and what it's missing, it is missing the symbol of hope, the S on the chest. But guys, it's missing a lot more than that. Not only is it missing the S on the chest, but it's missing all the corset lines. It should have all the same corset lines as a Superman suit has. I mean, you know, watch the movie, you can see that, obviously. So, if you wanted to do a custom, yes, you could probably make a mold from the S. You could probably, you know, get an S on the chest, but I don't know how you're going to get all the corset lines on the body, and without those corset lines and just having the S, it would really wouldn't look right. And this thing's got a fat suit too, so I really think that whole custom thing that we were kind of hoping for initially, I don't think it's possible, but I'm hoping to be proven wrong, and I bet you I am. If you know anybody who has customized this suit to make it look more movie accurate, I'd like to see it. And like I said, I'd like to see how he did the corset lines. But so that's the undersuit. So I'm never going to take this off anyways, but what shines through here is accurate. You know, it's got the boots very similar to the Superman, same kind of material. They're obviously smaller and you know, black obviously, but yeah, the cut and sew on this and the tailor and the materials, you know, very movie accurate. I mean, just, you gotta wonder sometimes, like with this figure, even though it's not a poser's dream, you just look at it and you gotta wonder how they do it. I mean, especially up here at the sculpting, you know, up here in the chest. You know, they got it all perfect. Like somebody sat and sculpted all this, looking at a screenshot or something, and it's so intricate. You know, and then they have to make casts of that. It's just, you know, this might actually be a good time for the close-ups. Just kind of see what's going on here. Yeah, like all in here, you guys know what I'm talking about. And you know, obviously it's, I don't know if this is an Easter egg or not. I know it's been rumor of it, but it's supposed to be a bat in here, and yes, it's there. It's clear and very distinct. So I think that's, you know, it is what it is. We'll see what happens in the Man of Steel 2. Add the color, you know, very, very Krypton-like, you know, from that same color palette that you see in the movie. I love it, absolutely love it. This should still be in frame here when you spin it around. Let's take a look at the back here. Yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, same all the intricate work all up here, the color work, the weathering, fantastic. Well, we're back here. I mean, the head sculpt here, the hair on it, absolutely, you know, excellent, absolutely excellent. Looks a lot like Russell Crowe. And then you got the cape here, it's got all the folds and everything in it, very nice, very movie accurate. You know, this has got the wire. I mean, it's kind of backwards here. I mean, Superman's cape should have had the wire, and this didn't really need to have the wire. The Superman should have had the dynamic stand. This thing should have had a different stand, but I know Hottoys does this for cost. It's easier to make one stand for the whole line than make individual stands for each figure. So I understand why they do it, but you know, for us guys that, well, this is even about a museum pose. It's just he never flies in the movie, not in this suit. Yeah, I've seen some guys get some pretty cool poses, you know, flying back poses with the gun and stuff, but you know, other than that, it's still a cool stand. You know, if you got the room, you can pose the two together, but in DTOS, it's either one or the other. And I'm gonna turn it around. Yeah, I mean, bang on Russell Crowe. I mean, this is just scary Russell Crowe. I mean, this is scary accurate. And he's even right down, you know, it's got the mole on the cheek, and you know, all the standard stuff, all the same paint apps and everything. Really, really well done. Again, the figure, if it had piers, it would, same as the Superman. If it had piers, the Henry Cavill, if it had piers, it would be ruined. Same as this. If they put piers in this, I think it would ruin it. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not a big fan of the piers. You know, from 2 feet back, you know, from back here, I can't even tell you where the eyes are. But the only time you really see the eyes is, you know, in HD video. So I'm a little bit torn about the feature. I mean, it has played out on some figures. I mean, it's really necessary and it's cool. It has worked on some figures, but on some figures, it just doesn't. And you know, for me, I'm just not a fan of it. I know I'm probably in the minority, but, you know, anyways. And the beard and everything, just fantastic. And then down into this, I don't know what you'd call it, the plasma rifle or whatever, but like, again, if you watch the making of the movie, you know, they talk about this gun and how it kind of operates. Again, very organic. It's, let's see if we can get in a little closer on it. And stay in focus. Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's got that, you know, that combination of mechanics and bone. Really nice. The gauntlets are really tight on this figure too. It's hard getting the hand on that. This hand here was hard getting it on. But yeah, you know, the stand, I can't say much more on it. And again, like the Superman, the only accessory it comes with, like I just showed you, was that, I'm gonna call it a bone gun. I know that's not what it's called, but you guys can correct me if there's an actual name for it, but I'll have to watch the making of it again. I did watch the movie the other night. I usually like to watch the movie again just before I do the figure, just so I can get some of my facts straight, but I haven't watched the making of it in quite a while. So let me get down into the hands. You know, you got your two close-fisted, open palm. I guess a grasping hand. I guess you could use that to hold the Kodaks. Comes with the Kodaks. I mean, weekend accessories, the Kodaks and the gun. You know, the dynamic stand probably soaks up all our money there. But again, what are you going to, you know, like the Superman, what are you going to give it, you know, for accessories? I like to think a little bit more inventive than I can be, but zoom back out here a bit. Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can, you know, there's not a whole lot you can do with this figure. The other thing too is the neck here, the same as the neck on the head, you know, the articulation on the Superman. It's not a whole lot of movement. I don't know if you need much, I suppose, but not a whole lot of movement in the neck. I mean, the very restricted, very, very restricted figure. But like I said, it's definitely worth being in anybody's collection. Just let you soak that in for a bit. You know, it's very eye-catching. You know, absolutely very eye-catching. Just real quick while I'm behind the camera. I know you probably can't see it, but just to show you where his sun is. The sun's looking on there. I know the lighting's not good. I'm not likely going to focus. No, the lighting's not good, but sorry about that, guys. It's kind of useless. But that's the Superman. I got it in a showcase right now. It's kind of in a holding pattern. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing with it. You know, that's the other thing too with me when it comes to dioramas. Every time I get a new figure, you know, the first thing people want is, you know, what are you going to build for it? But my whole diorama thing here in the house, I mean, there's a lot of dioramas that I could build for a lot of different figures, but I'm one of these neurotic clean freaks, which is hard to live with, and I don't like clutter. And I'm not much of a hoarder, so I like everything to have its place. So when I go to build a diorama, it's not like, well, I'm going to build that diorama, let's just build it. No, the first priority, the first thing that goes through my mind is, where am I going to put it in the house? So where I decide to put a figure in the house determines what I'm going to build. And if right now I'm, you know, really short in room because upstairs in the bedroom, you know, your quarter scale pretty well is taken every corner. So as far as what I'm going to be doing for these figures, I don't really know. You know, there's a few things that I could do, but like I said, it comes down to, once I have it built, where is it going? Like, I'm not going to build a bunch of dioramas and throw them in a closet somewhere, because that would be kind of useless to me anyways. So what I'm going to do with these, I'm not too sure. I really like that Superman over in the showcase. but I wasn't able to. I'm gonna try again. That pisses me off that I couldn't focus in on that figure. Yeah, I suppose best it's going to get. But yeah, I got it in the showcase. Actually, what the funny thing is, what used to be in the showcase, this is actually a really expensive acrylic showcase that I bought for my DX02 about 2 years ago. And then actually a DX12 was in it for a little while. Up in my closet, I really didn't have a display, but I had it in my vault, as I do all my figures. But anyways, and the other thing too with the cape, I wanted to have it out the side, but I'm looking at it going, God, because all my figures have to be in sealed showcases, and to have the cape out like that, the case actually would have been just unreasonably too large. But I got it in a nice little museum pose there. Actually dampened the cape down a little bit so I could get it to behave a little bit more than what it does. So I mean, it's there, it's sitting there, but back to this figure's dad. I don't really know much more to add, guys. It's you know, it is what it is. It's definitely a must-have figure for your Superman fans. I mean, and it is just a cool figure to have in anybody's collection because it is stunning. The tailoring on it, the materials and the colors and everything like that. So if you guys are thinking about getting this and you want the line, you know, definitely get it. If you just want a cool looking figure, this definitely not a bad one to get. But it's not, like I said to you earlier, guys, it's not a poser's dream. It's extremely restricted. You can only get some of the basic poses, and some of them are quite good enough. I mean, like I keep saying, I'm a museum pose guy, so you can't get much more basic than that. But there's some figures that just don't look good in a museum pose, and this is one of them. I mean, I guess the hands behind the back would be considered a museum pose or something like that, but you know, before I was getting this figure, I had visions of, you know, I wanted to have him holding the Codex above his head and kind of looking up at it. I thought that would have been cool, but the arms ain't going to do it. So that is Jor El, my friends. I think that's the end of the line, and I think that's about it. Until the next one. And I am going to be getting Zod, but I don't know actually what figure I'm going to be getting next. And I don't know what video I'm going to be doing next, but I plan on doing something. I got the camera here, I got the backdrop, I got this the table, so I'm going to plan on using it, see if I can come up with something inventive. I'm going to be on the hangout hopefully Saturday night with some of the guys. It was nice hearing them last week. Hopefully I get my technical issues all worked out. I just enjoyed listening to everybody's opinions. I actually learned a few things and had a few laughs. So, loved everybody. Wings Butler signing off. Peace and love to all.